Hey guys, so I read a book this weekend, The Screaming Staircase by Jonathan Stroud, and I have some things to say. First of all, just to jump to my overall conclusion, I did enjoy this book. I had to read it in kind of segmented chunks because it is a bit unnerving at times, but that's definitely on purpose. Just to give you an idea of what this book is about, it takes place in a world where ghosts are definitely a thing. They have been a confirmed phenomena for, I think it said about 50 to 60 years. This book is a little bit vague when it comes to dates, and that's definitely done on purpose. So in this world, ghosts exist, but the thing is, only children and young adults can see them. I think it's around probably late teens, maybe a bit younger, you lose the ability to see ghosts. So as a result, there are these agencies that hire children, often quite young children. I think one of our characters started when she was 8, to hunt ghosts. That is their job. They will often have an adult supervising them, but the children are the ones who do the actual detective work and who actually fight the ghosts. Now, in this book, which is the first book in the Lockwood & Co. series, we follow Lucy Carlisle, Anthony Lockwood, sorry, I don't know which pronunciation it is. It's probably Anthony, actually, based on a couple things that are said, and George Cubbins, who make up the company Lockwood & Co. Now, they are unique in that they don't have any adults supervising them, and this is a bit of a scandal. So they have to work a bit harder to prove themselves because they don't have any adults to add credibility to their company. Lockwood is the one who kind of owns and runs this company, hence the name, and then Lucy and George are his two employees, assistants, whatever you want to call them. And kind of the general premise of what goes on in this story is, it starts with Lucy and Lockwood investigating a haunting in a house, and I'm not really going to go into a whole bunch of what happens, but needless to say, things get freaky really, really fast. I'm just going to get the things that I didn't like out of the way right now, just so I can move on to the things I did like. Structurally, I did find the first half of this book a little bit confusing. It tends to jump from plot point to plot point without necessarily telling you how this plot point is leading to this, which could have been on purpose. It didn't really cause huge problems. It just did leave me feeling a little bit lost for the first half. So that was one problem that I had. And then the other aspect was that, and this is very much a me thing, this is not a problem with the book, I did find it a bit overly creepy at times, mostly because I found this book shelved in the 9 to 12 section, and I know that if I'd read this as a 9-year-old, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. So that is another issue I have, but that's not really an issue with the book itself again, and at the same time, I do think there are a lot of 9-year-olds who would have been totally fine with this, so it depends on the person. Now on to what I did like. There are two huge strengths that the author has that stood out in this book for me. The first is the atmosphere. He's very, very good at writing this kind of creepy, overbearing, but still kind of inviting atmosphere. And given the fact that they spend a huge chunk of this book in various haunted houses, that's important. And then the other strength that he has is the characters, and especially the central three. All the characters are written well, but the central three characters, Lucy, Lockwood, and George, are amazing. Lockwood is kind of like, he's a little bit like Sherlock Holmes in that he's this very, very intelligent detective, but he's also very different from Sherlock because he is kind of a bit of a dork at times in the best possible way. He tends to, he gets very, very overly excited about things, but at the same time, he's also very, very charming and smooth, and he's described numerous times as having this blinding smile that can basically get you to do whatever he wants. It's a good thing he's a very nice person. And then Lucy she's our POV character, so we get the most of her characterization. She is someone who has had a very hard life. She has spent her entire childhood basically being forced to be an adult. And at this point in her life, she has decided she's done. So Lucy coming to work for Lockwood & Co. is actually a really, really big thing for her. It's kind of her making some important changes. I don't really want to say anything more than that because it will give some stuff away, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, Lucy is interesting because she definitely has a bit of a temper. She's very, very kind, and in a way she's both more and less practical than Lockwood. They have a very interesting dynamic, and yeah, I'm kind of curious to see where this is going to go in future books with them. And then the third member of the central trio, which is George Cubbins. Now, George, when I first heard of him in the book, it was kind of like, okay, he's clearly going to be the third member of the trio. I am probably going to like him, but I don't think I'm really going to care that much. And then I met him and was like, okay, I actually don't like you. You're kind of annoying. I feel like I might grow to love you, but right now I'm finding you a little bit grating. And then 3 chapters later, he was one of my favorite characters. It was like, anyone who touches George is going to die. Probably by him insulting you to death, actually, because he has a very, very cutting wit, and it's quite funny watching him defend Lockwood or Lucy if anyone goes after them. Mostly Lockwood, but yeah. Also, George and Lucy have kind of a funny dynamic because it's like they know they're on the same side, and they will agree with each other on things, but very, very rarely. They mostly just fight, and it's really funny. So yeah, and then all the side characters are also really interesting. There's this one inspector they talk to a lot who, it's like I simultaneously feel bad for him and don't like him, but I kind of do like him at the same time. It's kind of complicated. And then there's a couple other side characters that I know are going to become more major characters, and they're already interesting, so we'll see where this goes. But yeah, so biggest strength of this book is the characters in my opinion. Second is the atmosphere. Biggest weakness is a slightly loose structure in the first half. But overall, I would recommend this to people, provided you are okay with things getting a bit creepy at times. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions about the book, or if you just want to discuss it, please feel free to comment down below. What books are you reading right now? I would love to know. And thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.